there you are. Hi, everybody. I'm Jenna. This is Apple Creations. Hop on. Let me know you're here. I'm brushing out some yarn for hair. This is a dog brush I picked up at Dollar Tree. Y'all have seen me use it tons of times. So say hi when you hop on. So we are making a nativity, and I'm introducing one of my patterns tonight. What helps if you cut all the loops, right? Okay. So say hi. Hi, Brenda. I gotta get myself pulled up over here. I'm happy to see you too, so I can be sure to see comments just in case, because we know we've had nothing but problems with this page. Hi, Kathy. Hi, Sharon. Oh, I'm glad you got it. I was going to ask you about that. Great. So, let's see. There I am. Hi, Joanne. So we are making a nativity, and this is my pattern, and I do have it available if anybody's interested. Oh, thank you for sprinkling. I appreciate that. So I'm going to show you a finished one. I don't think I've done this on this page before, but I have on other pages, on my other page. So this is it. So there's the sheep. There's baby Jesus. And this is weighted. So what I weighted this with, instead of using doll weight, I wanted this to be a lot heavier. And I used these half marbles. These face fillers, they're called. So this is like quite heavy. But that's what we're making. And this is one of my patterns. So you can get one made. Okay. You can get one made. You can get the kit. You can just get the pattern. And also, I'm working on a donkey to go in the front of it. I don't have its ears or legs on yet. Oh, thank you. So y'all have seen me make these before. So if you just want the donkey, you can buy just the donkey pattern or just the donkey. I don't know how many of these things made. So, thank you. So I feel like I'm running behind. Do you ever feel like that? No matter how prepared you are? Thank you, Brenda. You're behind? That's me. That is me today. Okay, let me get you flipped around. Okay, so this is Joseph's coat. Now, Mary, she has sleeves, but she doesn't have... See, she has sleeves on, but she doesn't have a jacket on like he does. So I'm going to show you an easy way when you're doing these tiny little hands. Let me get my pattern here. I just had it. Oh, for heaven's sake. Why do I lose something every single video? It never fails. There's Joseph's hair. See, no matter how prepared, you're still behind. Anyway, her arms are really little. I need them because we have to sew them. And everything's made out of muslin that I have grunged their bodies and coffee stained and added extra cinnamon just to make these more primitive. I have a basket of stuff sitting here for this whole pattern here. So that's what I'm looking through. There they are. So there are the arms. And I outlined these in a marker so that y'all can see. But when you're doing things like this little, it is better to trace on your fabric, sew it, and then cut it. Hi, Regina. Hi, Donna. And I'm going to show you something that you can use beside fiberfill for these tiny little arms. I've shown it before, but I have so many new followers, so I'm going to show it again. And you need a piece of scrap fur, and that's just for Joseph's beard. So this is just when I get tiny little pieces, I keep for stuff like that. Hi, Julie. I hope you're feeling better. So this is what we're making, everybody. We're making a nativity, and it is quite heavy. It is weighted with glass base filler or little half marbles. So, yeah, when you're doing tiny things, it is hard if you're doing a little tiny arm to cut it out and then try and sew it. So it's better to sew it on your fabric and then cut it out and turn it. Hi, Jody. So we're going to, we need one more arm. Do we need one more arm? No, we need all 4 of these. So we're going to sew these arms up and then cut them out. Oh, thank you. So if you are doing something even smaller than this, your straight pins are going to be in your way. And if you've tried it, you know what I'm talking about. Take a needle and thread. All you need is just 1 strand. And you don't even have to knot this. Instead of using a straight pin, just do a real big running stitch down the arm, the leg, whatever you're trying to sew. And that will hold your 2 pieces of fabric together. So if you've tried to use straight pins and sewing little things, then you know that straight pins are a problem. And it doesn't matter if you got the tiny ones, if you got the real thin ones, but see, that'll hold your pieces together while you sew. So we're going to sew these arms because I have a body already. I have most of this ready to go, but we need to sew these arms and Joseph's jacket. So that one's ready to go. Hi, Melissa. Hi, Camille. Welcome. There is not a wrong side to muslin. It is the same. Now, this has been coffee stained, but it's the same. So there is no right and wrong. And muslin is what I use 90% of the time. Even for the donkeys that I'm working on, this is painted muslin. So muslin is an extremely versatile. I mean, you can do anything. You make snowmen, ghosts. You can do dolls. I buy it by the bolts. When Joann's went out of business, I think I bought 10 bolts of muslin. And I'm going to slow this down a little bit to go around the thumb. You don't really see the thumb on either one of them. But when you get around these curves, like on the bottoms of their hands, always slow your machine down. That way you get a better curve. Hi, Teresa. So this is a pattern of mine. And I do have the pattern available if anybody wants it. I also have a kit. And I think I have like 15 of these made. So if anybody wants a finished one. But see, when you get that done, you just pull this out. And you don't have to worry about those pins. So we're leaving the tops open. So if you're asking me questions, I'll get to you in just a second. I don't want to take my eyes off of this. Oh, you're welcome. So it doesn't matter if you're doing a head or around these little arms. You want to slow down when you get to the curves so that your curve is nice and rounded. Otherwise, you're going to get a lopsided curve. So when I'm doing like multiples of these, I will take muslin and I will draw out. Like I have, I think 15 of these. So I will do 30 arms on one piece of muslin and I will sew them all. And I won't cut them out of my muslin until I get to that doll. I cut them out as I go. That way it's easy to assemble, especially if you're doing a whole bunch of them. And I'm in a shop right now, so I'm trying to get some Christmas things done for the open house on the 15th. Hi, Nat Nat. Welcome. So, we're making a nativity for those of you just hopping on. So, if you want to make like little dolls and things, you can use these same methods in your little dolls. So before we cut these out, I'm going to sew Joseph's coat. Now his coat does not get sewn from the bottom all the way up and under the arm. It goes from under the arm to just a little bit below the arm, and you'll see why when we put him together. I'm going to do from the end of the sleeve up to the neckline. So this is just the whole entire thing. If you are new to sewing, this is just a straight stitch, the entire thing. And I'm going to do a class. Yes, a class. I learned my lesson on this from start to finish. So those of you who've been following me know my issues the month of October. I was ready to quit altogether. But I did find out who was causing the problems on my page, which I'm totally shocked. But my first instinct was to call her and tell her off. Then I decided, no, I'm just going to pray for her, because obviously she's going through something. So when you have especially an inside curve here, you want to make sure you cut from the corner up to your stitching. And I don't know if you can see my stitching, but it's right there. So I always do another slit on both sides. That way you get a really smooth curve when you turn this right. Let's do this one. Let's not cut that so I can show you. See that, how that is there? If you do not cut that inside curve, you're never, no matter how much steam on your iron, no matter what you do, you're never going to get this to lay flat. So I'm going from the edge at an angle right up to my stitches. Now, if you go over your stitches, just put it back on the machine and sew again. I know. Hi, Mom. Oh, you got your new phone. Now, see how nice that is? That we made those couple little clips. So see how smooth that is and not bunched up and wrinkled the way it was? Oh, thank you, Camille. So there is Joseph's coat. So let's do these arms because I want to show you something. I've shown it before, but I haven't shown it for quite a while. I'm going to cut these out. And I'm going really close to my stitches. Can you see that? Because if not, then this whole entire arm is going to have to be clipped. So if I go really close, I can get this to turn without having to do all those little clips. Because every curve on your sewing needs to be clipped. Now I am going to do this inside because I want these arms, even though they're going to be covered, I want them to lay right. So if you use pinking shears around your curves, sometimes you can get away without doing all those little clips. You're not late, Wanda. Oh, I know, Sharon. I know. But sometimes it's the people you think the closest to you are the first ones that will come after you. And those of you who are creators, the whole month of October when I was having all those issues, every email, almost every day, I emailed them. And I started demanding a response. Well, I got a response today. So if you're having issues on your page, try demanding a response. I guess getting an email every day was, they figured they better answer me. Because I didn't do anything wrong. But whatever. Okay. Yeah, the whole month of October, I was hardly on. I had so many issues with my page. So I sat here and worked on some bunnies that we're going to be finishing because they are, they're going to have Christmas trees in their hands. So the best way to turn something little is to open it up and kind of push in a little bit. Take it, this is just a skewer. And once you get it started, you're good. And I can tell you my hands have been hurting me all day today. So, this morning before work, I was making Tony's lunch. And I felt rushed. As soon as I woke up this morning, I dropped a jar of mayonnaise in the kitchen. The lid come off of it. It went all over the front of the cabinets, all over the throw rug in front, all up my leg. I had to go change my uniform pants. I was like, okay, I'm calling off. But I went. It was like, mayonnaise of all things. I know, Regina. Hi, Deborah. This is from Amazon. When I'm having a flare-up, I have a problem seeing, and it doesn't matter how many lights I have here. So it is called Caterpillar Flex. It's Amazon. I'll put a link to it. And it has different settings. Bright, warm, And it's just a sticky back holder here. And then this is flexible, so you can move it. So, yeah, dropping mayonnaise all over. Well, I woke up at 2:30 with awful nerve spasms. So I was up since 2:30. So the mayonnaise dropped all over the kitchen, splattered. See how nice that turned? Yeah, I even cut those inside. So I went to work and I told my boss, I said, I don't know how productive I'm going to be today, but I'm going to try. Yeah, I'll put a link to that. Tony got that for me because I was putting all these lights around the room, and I kept saying, I can't see, I can't see. And when I have a flare-up, everything doesn't work. There's not one part of me that works. Oh, you're welcome. So, yeah, that didn't start my day off very good, but I did have a good day. So, at work, it was very, very slow. Thank God for that. But I knew I couldn't miss today because I went from 5 days to 4 days, and now I'm only working 3 days until January. So, I didn't want to miss. Oh, I know, Regina. I know. That black paint, God bless my husband. He has the patience of Job. Putting up with me. Yeah, we still haven't replaced that carpet yet. I don't think I should have carpet under my work tables. Oh, you're okay. So you're going to have lots of strings. You might want to save all those strings you're taking off that fabric, because next week I'm going to be doing a project, a turkey. And you're going to need them. So next week we are making fabric out of all the little tiny itty bitty pieces and thread and all that. So I do one of those projects about every holiday. Jody's like, oh, I got to dig it back out of the trash. So this is the hardest part of this whole project, believe it or not. And then having the patience to dry the sheep's face and the, if you're grunging it, all the grunge. That's the hardest part of the whole project. So if you didn't see Jody's snowman she just made, she was on right before me. Go over to her page, and she did, it turned out so cute. And did I share that? I think I shared it too. So it's on my page too. So the smaller thing you make, the harder it is to turn, because you have less opening to work with. Now, so we have our arms. When you're out and about, you want to pick up, let me get my container, and you see I have a whole shoebox full of these rollers, because you can get them in all diameters. See, even really skinny ones. And these cut really easy with scissors. and you just slide it. And they have a wire inside, you know, so you can put it in your hair. But we have our arm stuffed. Look at that. How easy. And then you can bend it. Oh, you're welcome. So we need to cut this. So just use a junk pair of scissors. Let me mark this where I need it. So I'm going to take that much off. Oops, that shot across the room. And that arm is stuffed. And all it is these rollers. You can get them at Dollar Tree. I got a whole bunch of them last year on a clearance at Walgreens. There was a container of all different sizes. Yeah. And then you can bend the arm. And if you want to have him holding something, which he's going to be holding a staff, you can bend your arm to hold the staff. But I just push it down in there, and then I put a little bit of glue so it doesn't slide back up. But it's just these rollers. You can do so many things with these rollers. See if this one will go flying. Yep. Under my table. Yeah. And look, your arm is stuffed. Look how easy. So I always make sure I go all the way to the tip. Then you can bend the roller to measure it. Now, I don't go all the way to the end, especially if I'm sewing. If you're sewing this in, just leave an opening here, and then you can work the roller inside. But, yeah. Who knew? Hair rollers. And then if you have a bunch of pieces, like the ones that just shot across the room, you can glue them together and use them. When I glue them, I always use like an E6000 or a, that one's not long enough, a clear grip Gorilla Glue. Now the packs at Dollar Tree, you don't get, I think maybe 6 in a pack. But if you've got some tiny little arms, oh, for your gnomes, I'll have to watch one of those videos. So I'm just putting a little bit of glue right on top of that roller and just squeezing that fabric. That way I know it's not going to slide out. So if you're like in a pharmacy or somewhere like that, look at their clearance section. Every store has a clearance section. That's where I found these. And I just happened to be walking past it one day, and I saw a whole container, all different sizes. And I think I only paid like $5 for them. That's when I like to buy things on clearance. Because I'm very frugal. Okay. So, let's get our... See, this is Mary's head. So, I already got it sewed. A gnome is something I don't think I've ever made. These are Joseph sleeves. I don't think I've ever made one. I don't know why. They have, I think I did see small ones. I don't think as tiny as I used, like that tiny. But you can actually use a little bit bigger one. It'll just fill out the arm more. It'll be tighter. But if you only have little ones, you can also shove fiberfill on the sides. So these are his sleeves. Now the jacket and the sleeves are not sewn on together. So this is all put together separately. Come on, Jenna, get it open. There we go. So our nice, quiet little neighborhood here is no longer quiet. A contractor bought the woods that's across the street from us and is putting in a big housing complex. And I'm like, so all you hear now is the beeping of the, these are Mary's, of the equipment. Oh, that sounds really nice. So yeah, our nice little quiet community here. And we live on a dead-end road. No, it's not dead-end now. There's a community being built at the end. It's like, hopefully, they want to buy our property. We're hoping. They haven't said anything, but we're keeping our fingers crossed. So this goes right inside. So it would figure that after we've been remodeling this place for 1.5 years, that's exactly what will happen. We'll get it, the day we get it finished, they'll come knocking. Yeah, I can't believe my hours at work were cut. 1 extra day a week wasn't too bad, but now it's 2 days a week. But I only work part-time anyway. I didn't work 40 hours a week. So I think it's time to retire again. Okay. Well, we got one more arm. 2. Yep, there it is. I was going to say, I lost the sleeve somewhere. So, Monday, I could not go live. I don't know, something was in the water over the weekend here. Customers came in and they were ready to fight Monday. I was like, what is going on? So that's the sheep. This is baby Jesus. I told my one supervisor, I said, I don't know what's going on, but I'm ready to go hide. Go open a storage unit and crawl inside of it until Tony gets here to pick me up. Even when my regular customers walked in while one of the other ones was yelling at me, it's like, she looked at me and she said, oh, I think I'll come back later. I said, please don't. Stay here with me. I need help. Yeah, I came home Monday with a migraine because of people. The last person, I said, you know, I'm going to pray for you because obviously you're having a really bad day. She walked away from me. I told my boss, I said, I'm going to start telling people that, so they shut up. Okay. And here's our sheep body. So I think I have everything turned now. So this is a jacket that I had gotten at a thrift shop. And this is grunged. I just poured coffee over it. It didn't absorb a lot, but it took some of it. Anything that has acrylic in it will not grunge very well. And this has a lot of acrylic in it. And you can tell that from the stretch of a fabric, that it has either lycra or acrylic in it. So let's put this together. So I already have the bodies made. So we need 2 arms. Wait, these arms have different sleeves. There we go. So we're going to glue these on. When I taught in-person classes, this was one of my biggest classes I had. Hi, Connie. We're making a nativity. I told Tony, I said, I'm going to go back to teaching classes. And I think, do I really want to do that around here? People are so cranky. So what I'm doing is putting a little bit of glue right between the sleeve and the arm. And I really need to move my glue tool over on my right instead of having it on my left. Ouch. Oh, you got to finish yours? Hi, Sheila. How are you? Well, I put that on the wrong side. Let me grab some scrap fabric. It won't matter because she has a robe on. Okay. Stuck my finger right inside that glue. So we're going to put his robe on. You know what? I need to do it the other way first, on the other arm. Because we have to work it between their bodies. Have you been doing your nativity on a live? Because I haven't seen it. Sit up there. There we go. Now let's get your arm twisted back around. See, this comes between their bodies. That's why it's not sewn from the bottom of the hem all the way up. There we go. I think I need to cut that neck. Ow. Hold on a second. I got a spasm. neckline a little bit more. So this is really stuffed firm. So sometimes you have to adjust that neckline a little bit. So I knocked his arm off. Try and put it through the sleeve with that glue on and see how this is going to work. There we go. And then reattach it. Okay. So this takes a little bit of fiddling, and it helps if your hands work better than mine are working tonight. Okay. So for Mary, we have to do his face too. I think I did Mary's face, but I didn't do his. There's Mary's. I didn't do his. So his is more oval. Instead of dragging out the pattern piece, I'm just going to cut this. And we're going to sew this. So let's sew this. Now this I'm sewing completely around, and I'm going to cut it in the back. And turn it. Whoops. I'm trying not to have to rethread my machine here. Okay, so we're doing a complete circle, sewing it all the way around. We're not leaving an opening. So on the back side, we're going to make a slit. Hi, Mel. Oh, you're fine. You can always watch replay. So we're making a nativity, Mel. This is a pattern of mine. So I'm just going to trim this just like I did everything else, really close to the stitches. And then open it up. Now sometimes if you have a problem when you're doing this, just get a straight pin and just put it under one layer of the fabric and pull it. Hi, I'm glad you're here. Thank you all. So I'm just getting a little bit of this, the fabric, and pulling it. See how I did that? To get it separated. And I'm going to make a slit just in that one part that we pulled, and then turn it. If you're ever out and about, get a chopstick. It really helps. Hi, Debbie. I'm making a nativity. And right now, I'm trying to get Joseph's face turned, and my hands are spasming. So I'm having a little bit of an issue. Hi, Kay. So I'll show you, excuse me, when I have finished here in a moment. So when you get these flare-ups, there's not a thing in the world you can do about them. Oh, for heaven's sake. I'm looking for my tweezers. So there's all kinds of ways that you can get your things turned. Hi, Diane. So I'm using a pin that I just put through the seam, and then I'm just pulling this all out. So the head of the pin is holding the fabric while I flip this, because it's so tiny. My fingers and hands are having issues. The struggle is real. Yep, it is. So see, that head of the pin is helping. So this is Joseph's face, his head. So we're going to take a little bit of fiberfill and fill that. And here is a finished one for those of you that hopped on late. So there is a donkey that goes with this also. I don't have his ears painted yet. So we're going to glue his face right on there. So this looks strange when you're putting it together, but that's what it turns out to be when you're done. So I have faux fur for his beard and his hair. And where did Mary's face go? Right there. So we have to put a little bit of fiberfill in hers too. Thank you, Teresa. Thank you. So I have the donkey. He's almost done. I have to finish painting his ears, and he's going to sit in the front. And then the sheep is, or the lamb is sitting beside Joseph. Now with her head covering and his hair and beard, all of that is covered up. So what I'm using to cover her head up, her scarf and all that is one of those dishcloths. It's one of these. I get them from, well, sometimes Dollar Tree carries these. So if you can find them at Dollar Tree, grab them. I've only ever found them once, and I always take the hems off. Sometimes they will rip really easy. Sometimes you just got to cut it all off. But I take all the hem off. Now you can grunge this also if you want. I didn't on these ones. I just grunged their bodies and added extra cinnamon. So my muslin was already coffee stained. I do several bolts of that at a time. So let's measure how much we want on her. So I want this to come down and around and up over. So let's try that. I know I have this written down, but my pattern fell on the floor. So, but you can get a lot out of one of these towels. But they stain really nice too. So I want to roll this back a little bit over her head. We're going to put hair on her. See, this one for some reason is not ripping. The rest of them ripped really easy. Does this have a hem? No, that's just a raw edge. Okay, so you want it a little bit longer. Let's put her hair on. Her hair is just yarn. And it's just, I think 8 times around 2 fingers that I wound it. 2 different ones. And it's just right in the front. And then after we get our covering on, we can cut this if we need to. So we want this down. Let's get baby Jesus wrapped. Yeah, let's take this off a little bit more. So you can do so much with these towels. I mean, I always use these for nativities because, well, they're gauzy looking for one that I like. Okay, so let's bring this. It's too long. Okay, let's shorten it. So I don't know why some of it's ripping really easy and some of it is not. So, there. So we're going to bring this up and around under her chin. And back. So let's put her face on. So I kept their faces on these very simple. The eyes are just 2 X's. Now you can get elaborate if you want on these. And then just a straight line for the nose and a V for the mouth. I kept these very simple because the Nativity speaks for itself. And then we're just going to wrap this right around her face. And we're just going to put spots of glue, just tiny little dots, to hold this. And put a little tiny dot of glue. You don't need very much glue on this. And then this just goes right around her. Now she's going to be holding baby Jesus. So we want, because we have those rollers in her arms, we can bend them and she can hold him. Let's finish Joseph here. So I'm just putting just a dab, because he has a head covering on also, but his isn't as big. Oh, we got to cut his faux fur. So on the other one, I used scraps of gray and white. This one I'm just using white. Now, when you're using faux fur, it has a direction on it. So if you put it this way, you are never going to get this fur to lay right. So you have to cut it in the direction that it's going. So I always like finger comb it. Thank you. Thank you. Because that's the one thing a lot of people don't like about faux fur, because when they're laying their pattern pieces out on the back, they forget the direction of the fur. So one is going right and the other side of their pattern is going wrong. And when you're cutting faux fur, you cannot cut it like fabric, like this. You can't cut faux fur like that, because you will blunt cut these and it will never look right. So what you do, and we're just cutting little strips, is you only cut the backing. You do not cut completely through. Ouch. Scissors are a problem tonight. So you just make little snips. And another way, an easy way to cut this is on a wooden cutting board and straight edge razor blade. And then you pull it apart. And see, you never have a blunt cut. But I think his hair, he's going to need a haircut. Let's see. Yeah, he's going to need a haircut. So I am going to cut this. But when you're doing like a stuffed animal or something, you don't want to blunt cut your fur. So we just need a little bit to go on top of his head and then down around his face. So this is a long fur. If you can get a shorter one, and all of my faux fur is in storage and I can't get to it right now because we have building supplies blocking everything. We have building supplies everywhere. So I'm just going to cut another thin strip, because it doesn't take very much faux fur for his beard. So we're just going to wrap around his face. Now, if you have wild faux fur, and sometimes it does get a little unruly, use hairspray. And then finger comb it, and you can get your faux fur to tame itself. But when you start cutting this, expect flyaways really bad, because you will have faux fur down the front of you. One of the classes I'm going to be working on right now to post is a real fur coat bear, and oh, that you got to wear a mask. So I'm putting glue right around his face so that this just wraps right around there. So he's a little wild here with this fur. Mary's going to have to tame him down. See if we do it this way. Let's put his head covering on, and then we'll say if we need more fur. So I'm just rolling the raw edge back and wrap right around his head. This is too long. Because his doesn't wrap around the front of him because he has a beard. And let's put his face on. And he has the very same face. Just two little X's. And a line. And a V. Let's get some jute. And wrap right around his head. So I'm putting a tiny dot of glue right on his forehead to hold. Oops, that didn't even stick. There we go. Right there to hold that jute. And then we're going to turn it around and tie it around his head. I had a lot of this prepared. Good thing I did, because we are way over an hour, aren't we? So I'm just going to glue this knot on the back of his head. So now we can adjust him. And try not sticking your fingers in the glue, which that helps. See, he's not as so wild now, is he? So we have our sheep. He's almost done. We have this stuff. And I'm just going to glue the bottom of this closed. Here is our sheep's ear. And his head. So these, I am actually going to use a piece of thread and tie around the center. To gather those. See how that gathered it? And it gives them a little bit of form. Oh, this is probably taking longer because my hands aren't functioning. We all have some kind of problems we got to work around, don't we? Tonight it's my hands. So we can make those go up or out the side. I think out the side. Hi, Ronnie. And then that goes right on the front. That didn't glue. Wait a second. It's still open. I bought a different brand of Vaseline, and now my glue tool has strings. And the Vaseline brand I didn't have, but I bought a generic one. So I have strings everywhere. So now I'm going to pull Joseph's coat back and glue the sheep right to the side of his body. And I'm using a bit of glue. But I'm making sure that the sheep is flat on the table. Thank you. So there's that. We got to do baby Jesus. And he needs stuffed. So baby Jesus also is wrapped in the same dish towel fabric. Now those are, I get them at Walmart. You get them where you buy dish towels in the kitchen section. There's like 6 or 8 for $10? They're reasonable. But they're so big. They're also called bar towels. They're so big you can get a lot out of one towel. Actually, I'm still using the ones I bought last year. But if you ever see them at Dollar Tree, grab them. So baby Jesus just has two little lines for eyes. And he's also wrapped in this. So let's get him swaddled up here. Oh, I love the Gorilla Glue. That's the only glue sticks I use. Actually, that's the only glue products I use are the Gorilla brand, because I have better luck with them. And and I'm not sponsored. I buy them. But the glue sticks, if you glue something wrong, you have work time to pull it back off. So I'm just putting a dot of glue on him, laying him angled there, and let's wrap him up. They're a little bit more expensive, but I have better luck with them than any of the other brands that I have used. So you just have to swaddle him in there. And then once you got it the way you like it, you can tack it down with glue. So I'm putting a couple, since there's so many layers here wrapped around, a couple dots. So there's baby Jesus. Now I'm gonna bend her arms. See how easy that bent? So I can put him right in her arm. So she's holding him. Now for a staff on this one, I wrapped a plastic candy cane with a gauzy fabric I have. Thank you. So the only other thing we have to do is put a bell on the sheep and give Joseph a staff. And it's just a candy cane. You can use the colored candy canes and just wrap them. So that's what tonight's project is. So this sheep is fatter than that one. But I hope you like it. Thank you for hanging in with me. Get these glue strings off. But see, he's got a white beard. He has a gray beard. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. So I have the pattern available. I have the kit available. Now, the Joseph's fabric, that color will vary unless you specify you want a certain color. But I have made ones too. So if you want one, let me know. Everything I make is for sale. I keep having people ask me if what I make is for sale. Everything is for sale unless I say this is a customer, like a memory bear, but I can do that for you too. But there they are. There's 2 of them. And they are weighted. Thank you. So then the sheep, or the donkey, I don't have his ears or his legs on, but he'll sit right in the front. So I still have to paint his ears and his legs. But there's the donkey. So they both will have a donkey in front of them. God bless you. Thank you for hanging in with me. I know this is a little longer. Thank you. Thank you, Jody. I know this is a little longer than normal, so I appreciate it. I appreciate all of you. God bless you. Have a wonderful night. And I will be popping on tomorrow for a little bit. Something I want to talk to y'all about. Thank you, Brenda. But there they are. Thank you, Diane. Thank you, Kathy. Thank you, Regina. Thank you, Sheila. Ronnie. Everybody, thank you. I appreciate it. I'm glad you like it. God bless you. Have a wonderful night. You too, Ronnie. Thank you.